Hello everyone and welcome to SpeedGaming. This is another edition of the Super Mario World No Cape No Star World tournament. And today is a race between Dact and Talvani. This is going to be a really interesting and hopefully really exciting race. So I hope you're all ready. The race is just beginning in the race room. You'll see it here in about 10 or 15 seconds. So not long to go now. So just to introduce the runners, on our left we have Dactyly, a very strong Super Mario World runner from Australia. And I have no idea what time it is there. It's probably like 10 AM on Sunday morning, or like that. So he's up bright and early for this race. Meanwhile, on our right is Talvani, one of many really strong Brazilian runners. And he's also particularly good at these no-cape categories. I think this might be one of his strengths. Now, the group they're in is quite interesting. It is a rather strong group. It also contains Ricky and Uncle Steve Pup. Now, the interesting thing about this race is that if Talvani were to win, then all three runners will have Dactyly, Ricky, and Talvani will all have 2 wins, which will be a 3-way tie. And then we're going to need some sort of way of resolving that tie. And I don't think it's been decided yet what's going to happen, so that's going to be quite interesting for us all to find out. So there's quite a lot at stake in this race. So far, Dact has won both of his races against Ricky and Uncle Steve. Meanwhile, Talvani has won one of his races against Uncle Steve, but lost to Ricky. So if Talvani were to win this, it would be a 3-way tie. So as you can see, they've gotten started, and this should be super interesting. So there's not a whole lot going on here in YI2. And you can see the brown timer at the top of the screen, both of them getting a 360, which is a nice instant guide to how well they've performed the level. And I'll be referring to that as we go throughout the run. Okay, so both of them getting box jump without any problems. The timers, the runners seem to be a little desynced. And it could be that they started their timers at different times. Maybe one of them started with a -2.2 and the other didn't. So I don't know if it's possible to resync them such that they are level with each other, even if the timers are a little bit off. Yeah, I don't know. Well, maybe just someone started late. Or maybe someone did some really bad overworld movement. I don't know. I guess it'll get interesting if the race comes down to less than 2 seconds. But otherwise, I'm sure it'll be fine. Okay, yeah, so we're getting some. Yeah, that's looking pretty sync now. It's much closer anyway. We don't know. Well, like if it comes super close, we'll have to retime it. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. So neither of our runners having any trouble so far, and now we're going to get to Castle 1, which is an interesting and slightly tricky level. You'll see them do some slightly risky jumps under some Koopas, and this is why they don't pick up a halfway, because they want to be small Mario for these jumps. And we're going to hope for both of them to get nice, clean movement, spend as little time on the net as possible. Oh, a little bit of trouble at the end with Dact. An interesting thing about the nets is you can grab them while pressing up or by pressing down. And it's usually more efficient to press down so that you grab the nets, climb down, and then you have more distance to get your next jump. But you saw Dact climb down a little bit too far, and if you're so far down, you won't move horizontally anymore. And thankfully he recognized that really quickly and he didn't just jump into the lava. Another interesting thing we're seeing is that Talvani is not picking up the flower in this castle. What this means is that he's going to do the small only strats in the next few levels, and almost certainly he's going to pick up his flower in Donut Plains 4. But yeah, both of them having a nice clean eggy fight. Talvani finished with a 240, but that's what you would expect. You can't quite get the 241 with the small only Iggy kill, but it doesn't necessarily mean he's in the lead because, or he's behind, because he won't have had the power-up transition to Flower, or not yet anyway. Anyway, it's an interesting routing divergence that we have. Donut Plains 1 feels like the run starts here, because now you've got a super interesting platforming level that's different from a lot of our Cape categories. World 1 is largely the same in most categories, but World 2 it starts to get different now. Now we're going to be looking for these guys to get a nice clean Yoshi grab. Neither of them quite... Oh my god, what is going on? Okay, so that was a little bit scary from Talvani's side. Dactyl had a slower Yoshi grab, but he managed to stay on his Yoshi once he got on him. So he's taken a few seconds of a lead there. Anyway, both of them have gotten through. I did miss that Dact lost his flower as well. So both of them are Big Mario right now. So I guess both of them are going to be picking up their flower in Donut Plains 4. So Dact did a little damage boost there, probably deliberate. He doesn't really need Big Mario at any point until he gets the flower in Donut Plains 4. That was really scary on Talvani's side with the throw block. And again, almost into that blooper fish, the green fish there. So, not the cleanest start. A little bit of a nervous start for both of these guys. Dactyl gained a little bit of time in that level. But it's okay, they're both still alive. It's just a little bit of nerves, and they're going to hope to settle down. Especially before the next super tricky level, which is going to be Donut Plains 3. And now it'll be interesting to see what strats they're going to go for in Donut Plains 3, because Dact would have intended to be in that level as big as Flower Mario, and he's going to be doing something a little bit different. I don't know what Talvani's intention was, although it probably wasn't going to be the Flower strat. Yeah, Talvani did the right scroll in that previous level to try and get the fish to move out of the way to get a little bit quicker to the throw block, but it's a little bit risky. Okay, Donut Plains 3. Alright, here we go. Both of our runners are going to be praying that this goes right. But we've seen for a lot of runners so far, it go very wrong. A lot of very good runners too. Dact gets up onto the clouds without any slowing down, and that is a luck-based jump to get up there. But he will have a backup if it doesn't make it. So he'll try and get up to the clouds. If he doesn't, he'll just do something else down below. Both of our runners doing a very nice job on the level. I didn't see why, but Dact deliberately avoided the halfway. Presumably, he'll do a little yellow shell strat in the start of the next level. Anyway, both of our runners getting through with no problems. That's going to settle them down. Hopefully, that'll build their confidence and hopefully shake off the early nerves. So Dact is carrying this yellow shell, and I think he's going to use it to kill this hammer bro. And yeah, he gets up there a lot quicker. Meanwhile, Talvani is going for the really swag shell jump. Doesn't quite get it. Not a huge deal, but it's a fun thing to go for anyway. We'll have lost a little bit of time. Oh no, that is really unlucky. That is it's so rare to die or even take damage against that particular Goomba. I don't really know how that happened. I think that's pretty unlucky. And it was just before the halfway, so... Oh, that's really unfortunate. It's just after the halfway, so it's really unfortunate that he didn't pick it up. Okay, so Dact's going to take a little bit of an early lead now. Yeah, you can see what Talvani was trying to get the double bounce on the Goomba. Looks like Talvani is not picking up a flower. He is going to use the star strat to get to the end of the level a little bit safer. Which is okay, but it'll cost some time in the fight in Castle 2. Dactyl having no problems in the first two rooms in the castle, but he almost didn't make that jump. He jumped really early there. So still a little bit of nerves happening, I think. And just squeezed through the gap, but he's okay. Let's see what kind of technique he goes for at the top with the spring. Okay, yeah, goes for the aggressive spring throw and pulls it off. Very nice. Very solid castle in the end for Dact. No time lost. Okay, so Talvani climbing up the castle. Is he gonna make this? I don't think. I don't think he was gonna make it with the spring. So he decides to bail on it completely and then just go up without the spring, which I think is a good decision. If you recognize it fast, you just go without the spring, and you don't save the same half cycle that Dak did. Oh no! Oh, Talvani missed this cycle as well. That's quite unfortunate. It looked like his movement up was okay, but maybe it was just a little bit on the slow side. So a little bit more of a lead now for Dact. I should talk about their PBs. They're both very strong runners. Dact is a PB of, I believe it's 35.15. Let me just double check. He PB'd again recently. 35.12. Very impressive PB for him. Talvani has a PB of 36.59. So only a minute and a half behind. This race is definitely, like, Dact is going to be the favorite for this race. But bad things can happen in one single RTA run. Okay, so Dact doing Vanilla Secret 1 fairly efficiently. The green beams can be problematic here. You noticed he hesitated on the green pipe, and that's to make sure that when he jumps onto the first green beam, the camera scrolls up so he can get onto the third green beam. If you're a bit too quick there, the camera doesn't scroll, and if a beam does despawn, then you could be sitting there like a fool, not being able to go anywhere. Talvani's back in Vanilla Dome 1, doing the same blue shell strat that most runners do. We'll see if he manages to grab the flower. It's right there. That's a fairly quick flower grab. So I'm a big fan of getting that if you can. It can cost minimal time. It's certainly better than grabbing the flower on that question block that Dact just bounced on, because you kind of have to lose your P speed and it's hard to get it back with all the jumping Koopas. Dact having a very good level here. Fairly tidy. Talvani is not too far behind. About a level and a bit behind. Level and a half, maybe. Not a huge insurmountable gap. Dactyl going into Vanilla Secret 3. I think it says 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, this is the third one. And interesting level with the dolphins. Personally, I hate this level. Find it very frustrating. Sometimes it can feel like the dolphins are in kind of random positions, although I think it's just all to do with how much of a left-right you do at the start of the level, and I'm sure if the left-right was consistent, the dolphins' position would be consistent. Not 100% sure though. Dact showing us how to do it properly though, having no problems. Talvani also doing a great job in Vanilla Secret 2. This level is like, it's an underrated level. People muck it up all the time. Lose P speed and get knocked off Yoshi 4 or 5 times in that first section. These guys have both done it pretty well. A little fluff at the end for Talvani, but only a couple of in-game seconds lost. Very slow, frustrating, boring water level. Dact showing us one of those capes that we're not allowed to grab in this particular category. If you're just joining us, this is the No Cape, No Star World category, so no capes allowed, as the name implies. Also, we're not allowed to use the Star World warps to get to Bowser really fast, so we're going to take a bit of a long trek around the world. It's still not a whole lot of levels. 31 exits in total we're going to be having. Okay, so after the very boring water fort, we have a very tricky Reznor fight, but Dact did a pretty good job there. Sometimes fireball projectiles from the Reznor can throw you off, but he did a pretty good job there. I think it was fairly peaceful. Booey fight. Booey is his name in the Japanese ROM. And Dact is playing on the Japanese ROM, so I should have been calling him Booey. Now we're into Butterbridge 1. Everyone's chance to catch their breath, get a drink, make a cup of tea, whatever else you need to do. Not boy, buoy, buoy. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but I'm guessing it's something like that. One of my favorite things of playing on the Japanese ROM is to see all the different enemy names at the end of the game. So they're quite interesting. Shoutouts to everyone's favorite, Atomic Talisa. We're not going to see him in this particular run, but he's there. He'll be there in the credits. I don't think all of the enemies have different names. I think only some of them do, but I'm not actually sure. Your favorite is Chibiraita. I can't even remember which one Chibiraita is. I'm looking forward to seeing which one it is at the end of this run. Yeah, sure. On the left is Dactyly, one of the strongest Australian runners. Very strong player, particularly in this category. He has a PB of 35.12. I think that's like that must be like a top 20 time or something. Let me check that for you. 23rd. He's joint 23rd. No, actually, he's a little bit ahead. He's 21st. Wait, no, 35.12. He's joint 19th with 2 people. Well, this is getting better and better for him. On the right is Talvani, one of our Brazilian speedrunners. Very, very strong player. Pretty good at this category, at No Cape category. He's pretty good at Rando as well. He knocked me out of the Rando tournament. I'm not going to forget that. I will remember that forever. So we're seeing Dact in Butterbridge 2. I got so distracted by the boredom of Butterbridge 1. The first half of the level is quite interesting. A few little jumps you need to memorize where you need to jump. And then you just grab a blue shell and you fly to the end. This is a no cape category. It's not a no flight category. You can fly, but only with Yoshi. So we're going into Ludwig's castle. Another interesting level. There's a couple of different strats you can do, different ways to scroll at the start, or even a no scroll strat. I think I can't remember what we just saw Dak do. I don't know if he scrolled or not. But either way, it was not the cleanest room one. But I was about to say the most important thing is that he doesn't lose his flower, and that's exactly what happened. And while I was watching that, Talvani is going back for a Yoshi. Did he lose his Yoshi in Butterbridge 1? Because if so, that's really bad. It's not even the first time we've seen it in this tournament, though. No, sorry, something might have happened. Yeah, it must have been a Butterbridge 1, because he's just entering Butterbridge 2 now. You can do... Oh, he's missed the blue shell. Don't come back, Yoshi. And now he's lost his flower. This is actually quite bad, because his chance to gain some time on Dact from a fire kill on Ludwig, he's kind of lost that now. You saw on Dact's side that Ludwig moves around a lot after you bounce on him. It's much quicker to do 2 fireballs in 1 bounce. And there goes Talvani's Yoshi again, but that's not a big deal now because he's past the level where he helps, and he can get one fairly easily at the start of Forest 1. Yeah, losing fire on those potaboos is very common. Like, everyone loses fire there. I lose fire there every 2 out of every 3 runs. I lose fire on those potaboos. That's why I always carry a backup, because I'm really bad at those jumps. Talvani takes a hit there, but it's not a huge deal. Losing a little bit of time with the power-up transitions, but he can get a spare mushroom. He doesn't need a spare mushroom, but he can get one for safety right there at the door. Oh, Talvani! He don't tipped. He clipped into the corner, and he lost his speed, and then he just didn't quite adjust the right way, and then he took a death. So he's gonna have to do room 1 again. Dak tried to grab the flower there in Forest 1. Didn't quite get it. It's not a huge deal because unless you're going to have 2 flowers, it's not really a big time save. You want to have 2 flowers for Castle 5, so you can use one as a damage boost and keep the other for the Roy fight. Okay, Talvani showing us the correct way to do this room now. So that was our 3rd try good room, because we saw twice, 2 attempts did not go very well. We're coming up to Forest of Illusion 2 now for Dact. This is the infamous, dangerous, dreadful Yoshi clips. You can see him dismount onto the ceiling as he approaches the clip. This is to try and get on the right subpixel, which will give him a 75% chance to clip into the corner if he performs it correctly, which he did, and he won his 75% coin toss. On Talvani's side, we just saw him totally miss the mid-air hit, which means he's going to get another slow Ludwig cycle, which is really unfortunate. So now he's missed the mid-air hit again, but 3 hits and he's dead. But yeah, it's not been a good castle for Talvani, unfortunately. Yeah, this is a pretty difficult category. We've seen so many deaths and huge mistakes from people in all the tournament matches so far. So the tournament is in full flow. We are approximately halfway through the group stages. This is going to be the final race in this particular group. There's a couple of other groups that only have 1 or 2 races complete. So we're about halfway through the group stages, and then we'll end up getting to the bracket stages after that. Forest of Illusion 3, where Dact is a fairly interesting level. There's a wall clip, wall jump you can do at the start, which barely saves time. And that is a bit tricky to get. You have to clip into the walls, you have to get the right pixel and jump on the right frame. But it costs minimal time if you miss it, so it's not a huge deal. We can see Talvani picking up his Yoshi now. He's trying to get P-Speed. It's a little bit tricky there, but I think he should just carry on. You can get P-Speed more easily in the next section. Yeah, there we go. And he may... Oh, okay, so Talvani's going for another Star Strat. The ending of this level is a bit tricky, and Star makes it pretty free, and you can also farm a bunch of lives. It's not necessarily the fastest, but it is a decent safety strat. And he gets 14 lag points to reward him at the end. Meanwhile, on Dact's side, we can see him do a little bit of a slow ride on the brown blocks. There's not much you can do here, but what he will be doing is the fact that he has a mushroom. He will be using it to damage boost into the spikes at the floor here, and using the iframes run across this gap, and so he only had to wait for the brown blocks for that first section. The ending here could be very difficult. The P-switch can be annoying, fireballs can be annoying, and also those yellow platforms can just despawn. And they do despawn really often. So it's a very treacherous ending, but Dact did a really good job with it. 3 stomps on Roy, kills him. A little bit unfortunate he had no flower, which would have saved like maybe 6 seconds. So Dact, for his standards, has not been a good run, but it's been a solid run. It's been decent. And as long as he avoids deaths, he's in good shape. But there's a lot of tricky stuff coming up in the next 2 worlds. I missed what happened on Talvani's side. I was looking at the Roy fight, but he's out of Forest 2. I hope that he got first try clip. Coming up next is one of my favorite levels to do with no cape, and it's Choco Island 1. And we're going to see Dact do hopefully a pretty good job with it. In the next level, there's going to be there's a couple of different ways to get up to the door at the end. You'll see it when we get to the next level, but one of the common ways most people will do is to do a damage boost. And there's a couple of different mushrooms he can pick up to do that. And the one he grabbed that pops out of the bush is one of the fastest he could have. Another alternative would be to pick up the spring. You just saw him bounce over. But pretty good level for Dact. Talvani's coming up to the castle now. He also has Big Mario, who'd be trying to keep it that way to do the same damage boost that we saw Dact do. Okay, we're coming up to a very spooky ghost house here now. The first room is not too dangerous. You just have to be a little careful with your jump, and you can just run off some of these platforms at the cost of a couple of frames if you want to be safe. But also, if you take a hit, it's not a big deal because there's mushrooms you can grab in the next room as well to do the same damage boost we're going to see Dak do here. Oh, that's interesting. He picked up the mushroom. Oh, my mistake. I forgot what Dak does here. Dak picks up the mushroom, but he's going to keep it through this level and use it to go for the risky strat at the start of the next level. At the start of Choco Secret. Meanwhile, Talvani unfortunately has lost his mushroom, so he is riding that brown platform all the way to the end section, and we hope he gets through this end section. Yeah, very nice ending. You can see the last platform despawned for both of them, but it's so common an occurrence that they both there and ready. Normally people will land on the middle of those 3 yellow platforms because it very rarely despawns, although it has despawned in the past with hilarious and tragic effects. So Dact will have lost a tiny bit of time at this level, particularly in the last room, by bringing his mushroom with him. And the reason he's doing this is because of the start of Choco Secret. Now, there is a safe strat you can do where you stop and pick up a shell, use it to kill the first Chuck and any football he might spawn. Just like that football right there. But what Dak wanted to do was he wanted to do a faster strat where he doesn't pick up any shell and he just kind of YOLOs it. And as you can see, if a football spawns in that particular situation, he's just going to get hit. But because he had the mushroom, it's just a power down, and he still carries on with the level. And he gets the mushroom again for free at the end of that room. So we'll see if Talvani does the same thing. I suspect Talvani might do the more traditional damage boost in the ghost house, but I'm not actually sure. Talvani might do the same strat. Room 3 here in Choco Secret it's a little bit of a scary one. It's not too bad. If you die, though, it's extremely expensive. You can get over these chucks without bouncing in them, but it can be a little tricky. Also, that second to last platform can just eat your jump, and you have to be a little bit careful. It's a bit like the yellow platforms that despawn. You have to be prepared for the worst, so that if it does eat your jump, you land on the last platform and then you jump from there without P-speed. Okay, Talvani's entering the ghost house now. We'll keep half an eye on what he's doing in this level, in room 2. Meanwhile, Dax is entering Castle 6. This is my favorite level in the game in pretty much every category. I think it's a fantastic level. Doesn't matter if you have a cape, if you have a mushroom, if you're small only. It's an interesting technical level that's difficult, but it feels fair as well. We're not seeing Dax do the ridiculously crazy undersaw, and oh my god, Talvani. Oh, I think Talvani went for the door there, and he got final bossed. So the spooky ghost house door strikes again. I assume that's what happened. Okay, so the Wendy fight here for Dact. Just need to bounce on it 3 times. It can be a little annoying depending on the spawns. You can't really predict them. But most spawns you can still get the 3 hits fairly fast. Okay, so Talvani has a little bit of a problem here. He missed the damage boost, but he does know the scroll small only backup. So he manages to make it through the level. Sorry, I didn't see the question in chat. There are people asking about if you grab a cape accidentally. Then you just have to take a quick death, find the nearest pit or the nearest enemy to walk into, and restart the level, and then beat the level without a cape. You can't just get rid of your cape with a damage boost. You have to die and redo the level. Okay, Talvani is going to the 3rd room here of Chocowild 2 small only, so we're going to see what strat he does. Yeah, so he's doing the run under the chuck strat. Fairly straightforward. I mean, it looks scary. It's not too bad. It's a fairly straightforward strat. You wouldn't be able to do that if you're Big Mario, so we saw Dact bounce on top of the chucks. Dact is in the sunken ghost ship. He is carefully swimming through this level, and he's going to try and get to the right position at the right time. You can see the boo clouds spawning in and out here. He's okay without a scroll, I think. Oh, he scrolled anyway. I thought he was okay without a scroll. So what he wants to do is he wants the boo cloud to still be on screen by the time the first boo ring was meant to spawn. And because the cloud was there, the boo ring didn't spawn. So he got a free pass through where the first boo ring was meant to be, and then he just damage boosts using his mushroom into the second boo ring. So that was a deliberate damage boost. You want to be small Mario for the next couple of levels because it's a little bit faster. Okay, so Talvani in Choco Secret Room 3. Let's hope he has a nice clean room just like Dact. Dact claims his orb. Get your green spherical emotes in chat if you have them. Talvani takes a little bit of damage at the end of the room. He regains P-Speed, which is arguably the more important thing. He's not going to have a mushroom to do damage boost to get the Crusher skip at the start of Castle 6. But that's only a minimal time gain if you know the correct small-only backup, which I think Talvani does. Valley of Bowser 1 is another fantastic level. Very difficult if you want to be super aggressive and go for the fastest individual level time. The mole hitboxes are very annoying. A little bit of a risky jump over that mole at the end, but he got it fine. It's looking pretty good to me. Oh, he had a little corner clip on the yellow blocks there. And that probably cost him the 361 pipe. So he gets a 360. Still very impressive, though. Okay, so you saw Talvani safely negotiate the first room. You can still get the Crusher skip. The full cycle as small Mario, even without getting Crusher skip, as Talvani demonstrated. And he's doing a nice P-Speed strat in room 2 here. Hopefully he nails it. Yeah, very impressive. Very good level from Talvani. Dact is coming up on Valley Bowser 2. First room, another tricky platforming level where you just have to be careful and keep your P-Speed. And now we may see him go for the sandbar clip. This is a bit of a tricky room. Like, you need to know your cycles. We'll see if he actually goes for the clip. It's not clear to me whether he actually went for it or not, because in some scenarios you can go for it, but if you spin jump a little late, you just carry on sliding and you just do like a normal cycle skip. So he may have played that a bit safe. He is watching the restream, so he knows where he is in the race. And he has a pretty comfortable lead. It's going to take more than 1 or 2 deaths for him to lose it at this stage. He's still going to want to finish out strong, but he doesn't want to chance anything, I guess. Okay, Dact didn't quite make the little slide to get into that pipe nice and early. He's going for the luck jump here, and he makes it. The jump at the end avoids having to wait for the sandbar to come up to get up into above the ceiling. And you can only do it on the faster running speeds, which give you the little bit extra height. Coming up to Valley Fort now, one of the most difficult levels in the whole game. Arguably, it's easier without a cape than it is with a cape, because it's easier to keep P-Speed through the levels when your jump just means you're going to jump a bit instead of fly. With cape, you have to cater for the fact that when you're P-Speed and you press a jump button, you're going to fly a lot higher. Very impressive so far for Dact, and he's going to make this last cycle, and he's going to get his 255 door, I think? Yeah, he does. Very nice. We have a little bit of a scary buoy fight, but he did a really good job there. Talvani played it a little bit safe at the boo rings. He did not get the boo ring despawn. You can swim through the boo rings. It is a bit scary, and it's a huge time loss if you die. You also see Talvani skip the star, which is interesting. The idea behind that is that the star and Scylla kind of causes more lag. and maybe you save a little bit of time by not getting the star lag. I believe whether it saves time or not is dependent on score, but in reality, it's just not a big deal. You do whatever is comfortable to you. It's really not a hugely important thing. Dact successfully navigates Dark Room, and here he is in the Bowser fight on pretty good pace. He's on pace for definitely a mid to high 35, which would be very good and well ahead of Talvani's PB. So we'll see how clean his Bowser fight is. Talvani's in a very interesting, difficult Valley Bowser 1 level. So you saw Dact keep a Koopa and wait to hit the second Mecha Koopa until Bowser has thrown out another one. And the idea is he wants to keep this into phase 2 in order to skip one of the blue balls that Bowser can throw out. Dact is having a little bit of a fun bouncing match there, jumping up and down on the chuck. That seemed a little bit unnecessary. I don't think that was particularly fast. But I guess he was trying to carry a purple block with him into the next level. It's something I've seen quite a few people do. So you saw Dact time the hit with the Mecha Koopa there, just after Bowser threw out his bowling ball, and he forgets to throw out the next one, if you do it right. And now he's into phase 3, and he's again carrying a mech with him into this phase. Okay, so Talvani does a very good job in room 1 of Valley of Bowser 2, and we'll see if he goes for the sandbar clip now. Meanwhile, Dact just has one more hit. Well, Talvani, to his credit, went for sandbar. He didn't do some safe strat where you'll probably survive if you don't get it. He went for it, but unfortunately, he didn't get it. Dact finishes up and gets a very impressive time of 35-34. Get your GGs in chat. Get your GGs in chat for Dact. Oh, and let me just see if I can bring him in for an interview. Alright, if you bear with us a sec, we'll see if we can get Dact in to chat to us.
Hello.
Dact, very welcome, and GG's, a very solid race time.
Thank you so much.
35,
yeah, that
34.
was.
How are you feeling, dude?
I'm happy. Yeah, I had like my 3 group stage races have all been really solid runs for the most part, so I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, and I think it's boding well for you in particular, not just because having won your group, but you're going to have a solid 35 time as well as your best time, which I think should give you good seeding for the next one.
Oh, is that how that works? I didn't know how it was going to be seeded for the elimination, but that makes sense.
Yeah, I believe the winners are going to be ranked in order of the best time in the group. And then the group runners up are going to be ranked in order of the best time, and then it's going to be like used to seed the next round.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Well, good job to Talvani as well. I know there's a bit of problems with that run there, but it was a nice run.
Huge GG to Talvani. Talvani had some good levels. He's very good at this category, and it's just things happen. With no Cape, no Star World, you know yourself, it's a tough category.
Yeah, for sure. I've seen him go for some crazy stuff in previous races as well, like the DP3 shell jump strat and just some crazy things.
Yeah, nobody's pulled it off in this tournament, even though this is
No, he got it. I'm pretty sure though. Like,
did he?
Yeah. I don't remember which race, but I was watching one earlier in the tournament. I don't know.
I must have missed that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I need to find the clip of that. Yeah, that's really cool. And they're all doing the little shell jump strat in Donut Plains 4 as well. They're kicking the yellow shell to kill the
yeah.
They're bouncing in that. All of the Brazilian dudes are doing that.
Oh, okay.
It's quite cool. I'm trying to learn that. It looks fun. Like I don't know. It's just a very solid run, really. Like a few little bits and bobs.
Yeah, I lost fire at the end of Ludwig, and that was probably the biggest single mistake. What else happened? I didn't get sandbar. I did go for it. I was like way ahead, but I still went for it.
Yeah, I was wondering that because sometimes it can be a little unclear whether people are just doing the cycle skip or going for it.
Yeah. In my last race, where it was actually kind of like more close, but I was ahead. I didn't go for it.
I think we've had relatively few races decided by getting or missing sandbar.
Yeah. It's only like 12
this
seconds.
Tournament so far, anyway.
It would need to be pretty close.
But I think as the standard improves, maybe when we get to the brackets and races naturally get closer, then we probably will start seeing it decide some races. But yeah, I don't expect we'll get Talvani in because I expect he's going to be in the Brazilian restream doing a commentary.
Right, yeah. There's a Portuguese restream. I saw the link to that. How close are we to being done with the group stages? I don't know how many more races there are.
I feel like we're about halfway because even though a couple of us, both of our groups are finished now.
Yeah, that's.
But there was another group whose first match was like a few hours ago.
Oh wow! Okay.
So there's some groups that just haven't got going yet.
Yeah.
Oh no, I missed Chibi Raita. I'm gonna have to watch the VOD back. I think there's 10 groups in total.
What letter of the alphabet is K? Because I'm on the page and there's a group K. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 groups.
11 groups. That means there's going to be 22 people in the brackets. That's an
awkward
number.
Yeah.
$60 matches in total. Yeah, it feels like we've done approximately half of them. So it could be another week or two before we even know who we're going to be facing in the next round. So do you have any what are you going to do with yourself while you're waiting?
What am I going to do?
Are you going to grind this to get?
I'm still want my 30. No,
I
definitely want my 34. I got a PB yesterday, like a mini PB, 35.12. So that's like 34.59 with sandbar. So I definitely want to get my 34. And then after that,
PB I don't know. Didn't have a sandbar. Wow.
Nah, no, I didn't. Yeah. Yeah, so I want that, and then depending on how happy I am with that when I get it, I'll either keep going with it or find another category.
Yeah, personally, I want to do some all castles no cape runs just in case I match up with a couple of people who promise me they'll race all castles no cape with me.
Fair enough. Yeah, I've been wanting to learn 95 exit for ages. It's a lot of learning, and it's like a difficult run. So. But
yeah, I can imagine.
Make some more progress on that.
Then you started off with cape categories, and then you just recently moved to no cape categories. Is that correct?
Yeah. I've mainly been doing like 96 and all castles and stuff, and I picked up the game in like early 2017, but I haven't been running it continuously since then. But yeah, I like first did no cape no star like middle of 2018. And then, but like only did it for like a couple of weeks and got a 36 or something. And then, yeah, came back to it for this and really enjoying it.
Yeah, and your PB has improved an awful lot. I've seen all of your posts in the PB brag channel, and some rapid improvement. So you'll get the 34 in no time, I believe.
Thank you.
So unless there's anything else, any final comments you want to add before we? Not really.
Off? I'll just say thanks to Talvani again and to everyone involved in the tournament.
Okay, thanks so much, dude. GG's once again to Dactyly and Talvani for this race, and Dact will be proceeding to the next round from this group, along with Ricky. And oh, sorry, carry on.
No, I was just agreeing with you.
So Dact and Ricky will be emerging for this particular group, but we'll have to wait a little bit of time to see who they'll be facing. And in the meantime, please give the runners a follow. They both stream regularly. We see Dact do a lot of No Cape No Star World lately, and he's on this 34 grind. Talvani, another strong streamer, streams a lot of very entertaining. Plays a lot of Kaizo, plays a lot of crazy stuff. So give these guys a follow. And I've been Shady Force, and thanks so much for watching, everyone. And see you on the next race.
Thank you.